want to talk about a work, courtesy of our partners over at XBTV. In this upcoming mile turf contest, this is the one Rip City, 4-year-old son of City Zip for trainer Mike Pipey.
Going to be his most recent work here, and he's the gray horse along the inside. And, he's very fast. You can see the time it there is pretty quick. He has a big advantage over his workmate, Tigre de Slugo, who is actually going to catch him. But what I like about this is at the end, Rip City really digs in. You can see he's just a little tiny guy, not much to him, but he's got a pretty big heart here as he's won 4 in a row. Right here, it looks like Tigre de Slugo is just going to go right on by as he pleases. And Rip City digs back in to try and maintain his advantage. They're pretty even there at the wire, but overall, I thought it was a nice work from him.
Horses coming into the ring. We'll get to our tickets in just a little bit. Something tells me you're playing the pick 5. You've already made your decision. I want to say, though, good luck to the Carlo Vacarazza barn, man. They're now here in SoCal, and I actually think Mantra. I wrote down last night long shot of the day. I think this horse got a big shot. I got him picked 3rd.
I used him in my top picks as well. I picked him in 3rd with Mike Smith climbing aboard. I could make a bunch of excuses for him. The last race out and the other mile and an eighth race, I think both of those were too far. You got the mile and a 16th and the mile races right in between that I thought were pretty decent. I think that there's a lot to work with here, but he's going to need some pace help up front, it appears.
I would have to agree, but he gets the money man, Mike Smith, and that's always dangerous. 3 horse in front of us here. That is Camaraderie, 4-year-old son of Camacho, who had a nice win
Not
last
the
time.
Outrider Camacho.
Good one. Who, he was in, Camacho was in Britain, so I doubt it was him. This horse was a nice winner. Has been game in all 4 of the lifetime starts, including that debut in Dundalk.
Going to get a cut back in distance here from the 9 furlongs that it took him to break his maiden in October here at the Great Race Place. I think that he's working forwardly, though, that it appears that maybe he might have a little bit more early gas that could put him in a better position, like we saw down at Del Mar from him, where he was only 2 lengths off the lead. I don't love first time versus winners, Pete. You know that, but he should be fit, and he certainly looked ready from a physical standpoint. He was the paddock pick, in my opinion. He looked tremendous.
I used 3 in the first leg, the obviously Camaraderie, the long shot, and the 1 Rip City we just talked about. 7-2. I thought this horse might get played down a little bit, looking to make it 5 in a row.
Oh, that's tough.
Very tough. Usually I say only if it's a gelding. Well, guess what?
He's a gelding.
He's a gelding. Usually they're 6 or 7 years old when you start getting to that point. But it is what it is. 144,589. Zoe Cadman will be joining us in a little bit. She's got a special guest I can't wait to hear from. And Millie Ball will be talking from the starting gate. On behalf of everyone here at the Starnick Group, and go Rams, all you SoCal fans, we'd like to welcome you to a Saturday here at Santa Anita.
Jay Cohen calls him onto the track for today's first race. Started the 50-cent early pick 5. There's a super high 5 carryover of $7,200 as well. Track is fast, turf is firm, rail on the turf at 0 feet, 9 minutes to post.
Here with assistant trainer and part owner Nick Vacarezza. Nick, you got the 7 in here, Mantra, and we'll get to Mantra in just a minute, but you're working for your dad out here in Southern California. How many horses have you brought out for the meet here?
We brought 6 on Sunday, but another 4 come on Wednesday, so about almost half of the barn is coming here.
You run a fairly large stable now. What prompted the move out here to Southern California for the winter? I mean, obviously it's the weather.
The weather and, where to be in Kentucky over the winter. You have Turfway Park, but, we have a lot of grass horses and, the poly track and stuff like that. So a few fractions came in.
You've got some very fond memories of Santa Anita, Little Mike winning the 2012 Breeders' Cup. You were a lot smaller then. What's your favorite memory of that day?
Probably after the race when we were just at the barn, the horse came back from the spit box and we had the blanket on, the flower blanket and, just being with the horses mainly.
Tell me a little bit about Mantra in here. Mike Smith rides Mantra. You've had a good rapport with Mike Smith in the past. What's his best shot to have a good placing here?
Mantra always tries hard. He's one of the horses that, we want to run him on the grass, so we got him out of Kentucky. He's kind of a one-punch horse. He sits in the back and he comes running. He always tries.
Well, hope to see more of you here at Santa Anita. Nick Vacarezza, guys.
Thank you very much. Good to hear from Nick. And again, I know Carlo is probably watching. Carlo, good luck. And we're so glad you got some horses here in Southern California. 205,000 in the pick 5 pools. We're looking at the field here. 8-5 favoritism. And again, Carlo Vacarezza, longtime player in this game.
Yeah, I was an owner and it was a trainer, and he's just been great as far as really being supportive from pretty much all aspects of the game. And I think he brought a stable of a half dozen. They've got 6 or 9 more on the way.
Good. Glad to hear it. 213,371. We talked about our pick 5 tickets. I'm $54. You are
$54 as well, Pete. The last horse that we used on my ticket that I didn't talk about yet was the current favorite, the 5 Laneway. He was 3-2 for a click or two. I'm really glad to see he's drifted up to 8-5. That's a much more manageable price for him.
Yeah, makes sense here. Again, this was a race I thought you could have got 4 or 5 deep, and he was, as we like to say, the 4th choice out of my 3. So you know what that means.
Yeah, he's going to win for fun. What about the 4 horse in here starting over, getting the blinkers off after trying them last time out for Falcone? Broke his maiden against Claiming Company, but it was his first start on the turf. After that, they just said stakes race, stakes race. He's never gotten in a chance to run against Allowance Company.
Conditions.
Yeah, he could be a sneaky horse in here just because the fact that he's never gotten a chance to go through an allowance race.
Interesting indeed here. Nice Guys Stables, Robert Falcone. 3 minutes to post. The 4th member of the broadcast team is standing by at the starting gate. Good afternoon to Millie Ball.
Good afternoon to you too, Pete, Michelle, and everybody tuning in for the opener on this Saturday. Beautiful day here at Santa Anita, not a cloud in the sky. And the horses, as they gallop by me, it's great to see with this good weather, you really catch a look at their coat. The one horse that caught my eye was striking a pose, and he was doing exactly that in the post parade. I'm not sure if you saw him, but he was very high energy, galloping alongside the pony. The rider, Hernandez, has his legs out of the stirrups just to try and sit in the saddle. But he worked back in May. It's a long time ago, but that's the only chance I got to see how he worked and what kind of horse he was. He worked with Fabosi, and just before he ran, before the layoff, and it was a super work. I think this horse really does have more ability than we saw in his last start. He was in the inside that day, and it was a solid work. Being off on the sidelines for that long, I could tell he's fresh, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see much more speed for him, rather like we did in his debut. Rip City, I spoke to Mike Pipey about him. He says he's continued to train very well. He gets the rail in here. He's eligible for this condition because he was in for the tag of 80,000 in his last race. So he fits this condition very well, continues to train well, and he looked good as he galloped by me. Laneway, he's a horse that I've followed for a long time at the windows. I just don't trust him 100%. However, I do think in this spot, not being the strongest of races at this condition, that he is going to fit here. He looked very good galloping by me. We saw Dick Mandela have a good day yesterday. When you watch his works, and we have his most recent on the 1st of January, he's rather a one-paced horse, and that's not necessarily conducive to the turf course, but I do think he's got class, and I think today might be the day he steps up. Just one note also on the number 4, as they are crossing over onto the turf course here, starting over. He's taking the blinkers off, and in a work on the 21st of December, we got to see how he handled that, and it was very good. He looked really happy without those blinkers on. A very sharp time, 47-4, the bullet drill for the morning. So starting over might be a little bit of an outside look as well. Competitive, in my opinion, top to bottom. I laid with the number 5 Laneway, who looks fabulous as he's walking up towards me here at the gate. Let's turn it over to our wonderful track announcer, Frank Miramati, with the opener.
Thanks, Millie. They're at the gate for today's first race. Pick 5 pool approaching 400,000 in the late stages of wagering. Super high 5 pool with that $7,000 carryover has more than 7,000 additional in there, close to 15,000 as we begin the loading process for the opener. Starting over, going in. Mantra. The last one. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even beginning. Rip City, Laneway. Greg Dar is up close in the opening furlong. Camaraderie just behind them and striking a pose 4 wide, but only 2.5 lengths off the speed. Liberal is guided over to the rail, 2 in front of starting over, and Mantra at the back of the field. Into the first turn they go. Rip City, Greg Dar tugging hard. Those two both go a bit wide into the first turn. They're followed by Laneway in third. Camaraderie tucks in fourth. Then it's Liberal, fifth, about 4 lengths off the lead, 3/4 to striking a pose, who's 2 in front of starting over in Mantra. They swing on to the backstretch, and it's Rip City, 3/4 of a length. Greg Dar is second, Laneway to their outside, just a half length off the pace in third. Then Camaraderie and Liberal, no change in the running order, 2 more back to striking a pose. Back of the field still, starting over the gray and Mantra. Into the far turn. Rip City still there by a half length. Greg Dar is in second. Laneway is next. Liberal on the rail and Camaraderie fifth. 2.5 covers that quintet. Then starting over, Mantra trying to launch a bit on the outside. Striking a pose is now last. They're at the top of the stretch. Laneway makes his move on the outside of Rip City. Liberals had a good journey. Behind them, Greg Dar has lost some ground. 2 more lengths. Camaraderie finding his best stride, and he's a threatening presence too. But it's Rip City just in front of Laneway. Camaraderie on the outside, starting over late. Camaraderie with good momentum, trying to get by Rip City. Here's the line. Camaraderie got up by a head. Rip City starting over, fast finishing in Laneway. It's a photo in the opener. Running time 1:35.04. Number 3, Camaraderie was first, 1 Rip City second, 4 Starting Over third, 5 Laneway fourth, and 2 Gregdar fifth. 31452.